Alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. We're going to go ahead and get started on the class, and we are continuing with the topic of patience. Why is this topic important for us as Muslims? Well, because without patience, you cannot truly believe yourself to be a Muslim. What is the meaning of the Arabic word Muslim? Muslim is an Arabic word that in English means a person who submits to Allah, or a person who submits to God. As Muslims, we live our lives. We're supposed to live our lives in total submission to Allah. And that's the meaning of the Arabic word Islam. Islam does not mean peace, like so many of these other speakers tell you. Islam does not mean peace. It's an Arabic word that translates in English to mean one who submits himself totally to Allah, or to God. Allah is the Arabic term that we use for what in English we refer to as God. So a Muslim is a person who is living his life in total submission to Allah, the Creator. And what does that mean? That means that we live our lives knowing and understanding what our purpose is. And what is the purpose? We were created to worship Allah, to prove to Him every day that we believe in Him and that we put Him foremost over any and everything else in this life. And also it means that we're living our life in total submission, meaning that I am living my life in acceptance, in acceptance, in acceptance of whatever Allah has ordained to happen to me. We are all created with the same purpose, guys, and that is to believe in and to worship Allah alone. But we all have different paths, different journeys that we must undergo to prove that belief in Allah. My journey is not the same as yours. So that means the obstacles I will face in life, the challenges I will have to endure in life, they're not going to be the same as yours. Okay? To overcome those obstacles, to overcome those challenges, it requires patience. Without that patience, you are not in acceptance of Allah's decree. And if you are not in acceptance of Allah's decree, then you are not a person who submits himself totally to Allah. So now do you guys understand why this topic is so important? Patience is a component of faith. That's what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam meant when he said patience is a component of faith. Without it, you do not truly believe in Allah. Because without it, you are not going to be living your life in submission to His will, His decree, what He has ordained for you. You're not going to pass your tests in life. You're not going to overcome your challenges. Your journey will not be complete. And today what I'm going to do is give you some tools or ways in which to strengthen your patience. We talked already about how to develop patience. If you recognize that you are a person lacking in patience, there are things you can do to develop it. Number one, pretend to be a patient person. Number two, surround yourself with people who are patient. Number three, make dua, asking Allah to bless you with this gift. And of course, you have to first of all educate yourself as to what patience is. Once you've done that, then there are certain things you can do to strengthen it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Again, this whole series is designed to help you to become a better Muslim, a better human being, a better person. This whole series is designed to help you to get over the humps, the bumps in life, to overcome your challenges so you can come out a winner in the long run. And again, we have to be reminded that every one of us needs to understand that patience is the only way to overcome life's difficulties. Either you're going to be one of those people who exercises patience willingly, or you're going to be one of those who will have to exercise patience. Remember, the intelligent person, we talked about this before, the intelligent person is the one who exercises patience willingly. And why? Because that person realizes the benefits of doing so. That person knows that if I willingly put patience to use when I am faced with a bad thing in life, then Allah will reward me. Allah will help me to overcome whatever that bad thing is. Also, the intelligent person knows that if I choose to not exercise patience, it's not going to make the situation get any better. Panicking, screaming, hollering, crying, what does that do, guys? It just makes you sick. It gives you a headache. It makes you depressed. It makes you worse. It does not, panicking and screaming and hollering and crying does not make the situation or the bad thing go away. So what's the use in crying? What's the use in screaming? What's the use in going crazy? It's just going to make me worse. So I am going to look at this problem and face it head on and deal with it without panic, without complaint, without screaming. I'm going to call upon Allah to help me to overcome this obstacle. Because that's the only way I can make it go away or help myself to get over it. And that's why a wise person once said, the intelligent man, as soon as something bad happens, he does what the ignorant man does after a month. It takes a month for the ignorant person to realize, well, nothing I can do to change it, so I might as well just deal with it. The intelligent person deals with the bad situation immediately. You hear that your job is laying you off. Yes, it's a sad thing. I'm getting ready to get laid off, but there's nothing I can do to change it. I can't make them not lay me off. So what am I going to do? Let me just deal with this head on. Let me start getting my resume together. Let me start looking for another job now. I'm not going to wait till a month later thinking, oh, it's going to go away. It's not going to happen. No, it's too late. Then when I'm laid off, I'm sitting here. My family has nothing, no food, no clothing, no shelter. No, the intelligent man acts immediately, whereas the ignorant person waits, too late. And finally, after now he done subjected his family to not having the bills paid, now he wants to redo what the intelligent person did when he first got notified that he was being laid off. Okay, so again, that's the difference in exercising patience willingly and unwillingly. You don't want to be a person that waits till you have no choice to then decide to be patient. Okay? The ignorant person, you done wasted a lot of time. You done wasted a lot of energy. All that time you spent crying because you lost your job. All that time you spent going crazy and all that thinking it's going to go away. That's time that you could have spent finding something better for yourself. So again, you don't want to be a person who waits to the last minute to implement patience. You want to implement patience in your life as soon as you are faced with whatever the bad news or the bad thing is. Also, guys, we talked about this the other day too. Not only does life require patience, when we are faced with something bad. But life also requires patience when we're faced with good things too. Okay? We talked about how it takes patience to obey Allah. It takes patience to put that hijab on every day and leave out that house. It takes patience to perform those prayers every day, 5 times a day. It takes patience to resist the urge to fornicate. It takes patience to do good too. So the intelligent person, not only does that person implement patience and hardship, but in good things too. He remains firm in his belief. Again, why were you created? You were created to worship Allah. Allah has already told us he's going to test us in our faith with everything we love. If it's something that is important to you that you love, look at it as what it is. It's a test. Your children are a test. Your job is a test. Your husbands, your wives, your food, your money, your home, your car, the things you love, your cats, they're all tests for you. So the intelligent person implements patience even in good times. Whereas the person that's unintelligent, this is a person that gives in to their desires. This is a person that is governed by their wants and their needs. They have the greatest patience when it comes to disobeying Allah. They have the greatest patience when it comes to giving into their desires. They're the total opposite of those of us who are intelligent and who truly do believe in Allah. If you look at those people who claim to believe in Allah, but they're living their lives in sin, and there's a lot of Muslims out there, guys, you see them on Facebook, they call themselves Muslims, but they're smoking cigarettes, doing drugs, not wearing hijab, you know, backbiting, slandering, fornicating, picking up men, picking up women, all this nonsense. It takes patience to do that stuff. They will endure many difficulties just to give in to their desires. I know some people on Facebook spend all their time all night long going through pickup, you know, with these Tinder or fish hook 'em in websites, or trying to pick up men, pick up women, or even on Facebook. They give up their food, their drink, their sleep, their families, and everything else just to follow their desires. But they cannot bear even the slightest difficulty to please Allah. They make up all kind of excuses as to why they're not wearing hijab. All kind of excuses as to why they can't wake up and make fajr. All kind of excuses why they can't go to the mosque, while these brothers cannot go to the mosque to pray, but they can sit up all night on the internet, deprived of sleep and everything, to try to pick up women. Okay, so again, the ignorant people, the people who claim to believe in Allah, but they really don't, the hypocrites, they implement the most patience when it comes to disobeying him. Whereas for those of us who truly do believe in Allah, we implement the most patience in obeying him. It's harder to do what's right than it is to do what's wrong. Why? Because look at how Allah created us. Remember, we were created and we are attracted to the things that are bad and dirty for us. It takes more patience to not give in to that attraction than it does to give into it. So we need to ask ourselves, what type of person am I? Am I implementing the most patience in disobeying Allah, or am I implementing it in obeying him? It takes strength. It takes more strength to obey Allah, since we're not attracted to what's good, since we're not attracted to what's good for us. And the only way that we can strengthen our patience, guys, is by doing 2 things. First of all, education, educating ourselves, reiterating to ourselves. This is why I do a lot of people say, Sister Layla, you've been on the internet for years teaching Islam, teaching the basics of Islam. I teach a lot of stuff over and over and over again. I'll add new things to it. But the topics are the same. Tawheed, Tawheed, Tawheed. We have to constantly, seek knowledge and repetition of that knowledge of, again, why we were created, what our purpose is, what does it mean to believe in Allah, how to attain paradise. And then the second way is from action, taking what you know to be right, and then acting upon it. These are the two ways to strengthen patience, through knowledge of it and through implementation of it. Those are the only ways you can make yourself stronger in your patience of doing what is good. And again, everything begins with knowledge. People who lack patience, remember when I first started teaching this class, I asked you guys to give me the definition of patience. None of you could give me the correct definition. You gave me a Webster's definition. I want the Islamic definition of what does it mean to be patient. None of you could get that right. Okay, we have to educate ourselves. Know what it means to be patient. Understand the benefits of having it. Understand how it is a gift, what makes patience a gift. And when you do that, then you move to the next level of knowledge. You understand that by following the commands of Allah, by doing what's pleasing to Him, it brings about happiness. And that happiness makes you stronger. That makes you able to overcome your attraction to what is bad and dirty. Because again, you are reiterating to yourself what your purpose is in life. And that everything here that is pleasing to you is a test. So again, the first element in strengthening your patience is by seeking and understanding what patience really is. And then once you understand what it is, then just act upon it. Don't just be a textbook Muslim. You want to be a Muslim of action. I know what patience is. I know that I should not panic when something bad happens. So I'm not going to panic. Instead of saying why, I'm going to say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Okay? We have to understand, guys, that patience is a constant battle between reason and religion on one hand. And it's another battle between your desires on the other. If you want reason and religion to overcome your desires, then you have to strengthen your knowledge. Strengthen your knowledge. And that will help you to defeat the effects of your desires. And I hope this makes sense to you guys. Let me give you an example. Again, as humans, we are attracted to what is bad and dirty. Let's look at adultery, fornication. We're attracted to love stories. We're attracted to love books and pornography and all that stuff. Your attraction to that is what causes you to fall into sin. So how can I prevent myself from giving in to my desires and falling into adultery or fornication? Let me even bring it home to you even more. Look at Facebook, for the Facebook Muslims. For those of you sitting up spending hours on Facebook chatting to a bunch of men and women when you know this is haram. We don't sit around, a woman and a man cannot be alone in Islam, not even to learn the Quran together. There has to be a third person present. But you're going to spend all night talking on Facebook to a bunch of men claiming you're looking for a husband. But instead you're fornicating. Well, there's things you can do to stop yourself from doing that. First of all, avoid that which brings about this desire. Ask yourself, why are you lonely? I know a lot of Muslim women tell me, oh, I'm so tired of being by myself, Sister Layla. I want a man in my life. What's bringing about this desire? You sitting around watching soap operas? You're watching love movies? Reading all those love books? Lower your gaze. Avoid looking at that which brings about the desire to be with someone. Stop listening to these love songs, Mariah Carey's and Post Malone's Psycho or whatever it is that's bringing about this desire to want to be with someone else. Okay, that's one way to implement patience and not fall into this sin of adultery. Also, another thing you can do, just get married. Go do it the right way. Instead of sitting up on Facebook trying to pick up a man, which is haram, go to your guardian. Go to your guardian and say, look, I'm having bad thoughts, bad desires. I need to get married. Can you please go about the Islamic way of finding me a husband? And let's go about it the right way. Go to your guardian and say, I'm ready to get married. And your guardian can start screening for potential mates for you. Okay, and then you can enjoy legal, permissible sex. Also, you can think about the damage that can happen to you, the harm that you're causing yourself by giving in to these desires. Look at the way you're harming yourself, wasting time on the internet talking to a bunch of degenerate men from around the world that you don't know anything about. They probably got AIDS. What do you know? They come from a lot of third world countries. And again, another way to avoid it is you can stay away from situations that lead to this. Your environment is important. Close your Facebook account if all you're doing is sitting there talking to men and women all day and it's making you want to fornicate, adulterate, or whatever. Okay? So again, as Muslims, we are constantly in a battle between our religion and our desires. This is why Allah created us. He created us to worship Him and to prove our belief in Him every day. So we're constantly in a battle between our religion and our desires. And there are some weapons that we can use to help to increase our patience and help us to overcome the desires and stay firm in our religion. And again, constantly think about the greatness of Allah. Allah should be foremost on your mind. Instead of thinking about how lonely you are. Instead of thinking about how you ain't had a man in 2 years. Remember the glory and greatness of Allah. And that He's what life is all about. Understand, you claim to have love for Allah. Every Muslim claims to love Allah. Then if you love Him, you would never disobey Him. If you loved Allah, you would put your love for Him over your loneliness, your depression. And putting your love for Allah first and foremost will cause you to keep yourself away from situations that can bring about these bad thoughts, these bad desires, these bad actions. Remember, guys, there's a great difference between a person who obeys Allah out of love and a person who obeys Him out of fear. That's just like, your children. Are your children obeying you because they fear you getting ready to whoop their behind? Or are they obeying you because they love you and they want to make you happy? If they obeying you because they love you and want to make you happy, that's going to make them stronger. That's going to make them resist the urge and the desire to even put themselves in a situation that's going to cause them to bring about your anger. But if they doing it out of just fear alone, put them in an environment where their desires are in question, they'll give in to the desire and say, the heck with you, you ain't around, you ain't watching, so what they got to fear? So again, when you're tempted to disobey Allah and give in to your desires, when you're tempted, to not show patience in life, think about how, number one, Allah sees all that you're doing. You were created to please Him, and then fall back on that love you claim to have for Allah. And that'll keep you firm. That'll keep you from panicking. That'll keep you from giving in to your desires. Also, guys, another weapon you have to strengthen your patience is to think about the blessings Allah will give you for obeying Him, for implementing patience in that hardship. Think about how Allah is going to reward you because you handled yourself with dignity when you received the news that your mother died. You didn't question and ask why. You didn't ask, why did you do this to me, God? Not my mother. Think about how the simple fact that you are remaining patient and not transgressing the limits, how Allah is going to reward you by taking away that pain and moving you up closer to Him. Okay, so if we think of the blessings and favors that Allah gives us, it's simply by obeying Him and doing what He wants, that'll become a strong weapon that we use, that when we are faced with a hardship in life, I'm not going to transgress the limits. I am not going to panic. I'm going to deal with this, handle myself with dignity. And on the other hand, think of the wrath too for not doing that. Those of us who do give in to our desires, those of us who do transgress the limits of Allah, Allah is going to punish you eventually. Allah tells us in the Quran, I will punish you twice. I'm going to punish you in this world. I'm going to punish you in the hereafter. He took away your mother. That was a test. Okay? Since you couldn't handle that, now guess what? That's why your husband getting ready to marry another wife on you. Your husband comes home one day and say, guess what? I'm getting ready to take on a second wife, third wife, and a fourth one. Because you couldn't handle that one trial, here comes 3, 4 more. And also, guys, whenever we're faced with a hardship in life, rather than panic and transgress the limits of Allah, think about how you're going to lose in this world and in the next. Again, what is your purpose? What is your ultimate goal? Our ultimate goal as Muslims is paradise. This world was created to be a test for us. The ultimate goal is paradise. I want to prove my belief in Allah by handling my hardship with dignity and overcoming it, because I don't want to lose in the hereafter. I want to be in my grave, because guess what? Death is going to come to you too, to every one of us. When I am in my grave, I want that light to shine in my grave. And I want my soul to be placed in the form of a green bird flying around the throne of Allah. I don't want to be crushed over and over and over in my grave and punished in the hellfire for the bad choices I made in this life. Remember, guys, whenever we commit a sin or whenever we do something bad, your faith disappears while you're doing it. For example, you receive news that you've been laid off from work. Instead of you saying, Inna Allâhi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, okay, let me face this head on, you say, well, that's okay. I'm getting ready to go out and rob a bank. I'm getting ready to go steal my neighbor's car. Anytime you commit a sin, while you are doing that sin, your faith has disappeared. And that's what the prophet meant when he said an adulterer is not a believer at the time he's committing adultery. A drunkard is not a believer as long as he's drinking. So you get bad news. Your mother died. Your husband's in a car accident. Your kids got sick or something, or you're diagnosed with cancer. You turn to drugs, cigarettes, marijuana. While you're smoking that drug or smoking that cigarette, you are not a believer. Your faith has disappeared. And your faith will not come back until you stop the sin and repent. If you don't stop the sin and repent, that faith stays out of your heart. And this is why you look at a lot of Muslims who you thought were good Muslims. Oh my gosh, she's such a good sister. Then all of a sudden, a year later, you run into her at the mall and, oh my God, is that sister so-and-so? Where's her hijab? Oh my gosh, she's got a cigarette in her hand. What happened? Oh, well, her husband divorced her. And after her husband divorced her, she just gave up. She started back to smoking. And now she ain't wearing hijab. Okay, her faith never came back. She started smoking those cigarettes. That was her way of coping, she says, with her stressful problem. Well, since she never stopped, never repented, it led to another sin. She started taking off her hijab. After taking off her hijab, she stopped wearing jilbabs. So now she just ain't practicing at all. She ain't praying no more. And I heard she got a boyfriend. Hello, the sins start to build up because that faith has disappeared. So again, whenever you're faced with a hardship in life and you're tempted to do something bad, think about what you have to lose. Oh no, I don't want to lose my faith. Because how do I know I'm going to come back for it? Remember, we're weak. We're human beings. We're attracted to what's bad for us. We're attracted to what's dirty. It's harder to do the right thing than it is to do the bad. And again, thinking about the rewards. Allah tells us in the Quran, in the interpretation of the meaning, Allah, He is with those who are patient and who persevere. For Allah is with those who restrain themselves and do good. Allah is with those who do right. So for those of us who restrain ourselves and do the right thing, don't panic. Your husband comes home and just says he wants to divorce you. Well, easy come, easy go. Nothing you can do. I would try to be the best wife I could be, but guess what? There's more fish in the sea. Aki, I loved you, but you know what? I don't love anyone more than I do Allah. If it is Allah's decree for us to separate, then so be it. I'll move on. I'll remain firm. I am not going to fail my test by choosing you over Allah. You divorce me, fine. I'm going to put my life in the hands of Allah. I'm going to ask Allah to help me through this. And guess what? Divorce is over. A brother much better than that man comes and asks the imam in the mosque, is that sister single? I'd like to open up lines of communications with her for possible marriage. And Allah ends up sending you a better husband, a better man who gives you better kids and everything else, a better life. So again, Allah is with those of us who are patient. If we implement patience when faced with the trials of life, you will come out of life a winner, and Allah will give you something better. Okay? And also, guys, think about death. Death can come at us at any time. You do not want to die in a state of disbelief. You do not want to die with your faith out of your heart because you smoking cigarettes and drinking because you couldn't handle divorce. Think about it, guys. So again, guys, these are some of the things that we can do as Muslims to overcome the challenges that Allah sends us in life. Remember, Allah is going to test us with everything that we hold important, everything that we hold dear, our children, our husbands, our wives, our job, our car, our homes. I know one sister told me, she said, Layla, you know I love my home, but do you know how much money I've spent in the past year? The roof caved in one day. The basement was leaking one day. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars fixing the roof, fixing the basement, getting it waterproof. But you know what, Sister Layla? Alhamdulillah. Because Allah knows I love that house. But guess what? I don't love that house more than I do Him. So I'm patient. And Allah has managed to help me out of every situation. Don't ask me how I got that roof fixed. It's fixed. Don't ask me how we got that basin repaired. It's repaired. But Allah is testing me with this house. He knows I really love it. So I'm going to handle myself with dignity, deal with the test, get through it. And Allah will forgive me of my sins and I move on. When this sister told me this, I was like, mashallah, you've learned so much. She said, yes, I have, alhamdulillah. And that's what it is. It's just a test. Any hardship, your house, your car, whatever you hold dear, whatever you hold sacred, Allah is going to test you with it. You have to be patient. Bear it with dignity. Remember your purpose. Think about how Allah sees everything we do. How we're supposed to spend each day of our life proving to him that we love him. And because of that love, I'm not going to make him angry. Because of that love, I'm not going to do anything that's going to make my standing with him bad. So thus, guys, we're going to stop right here for today. And I want you to remember, just because you're experiencing hardship after hardship after hardship in life does not mean that Allah is punishing you. If you're a good Muslim living your life obeying him, those hardships, like that sister told me about her house, these are Allah's ways of forgiving you of your sins. When Allah loves a person, he will subject him to hardships because Allah loves for us to prove our love for him. And then he will raise you up higher. He'll get you over the hardship. Remember, Allah does not put a burden on us that we can't bear. Whatever you are faced with in life, be it losing a job, losing a loved one, you can handle it. If you couldn't handle it, Allah wouldn't have gave it to you. He just wants you to prove while you're handling it that he comes first by not transgressing the limits and complaining and panicking and acting stupid and falling into your desires and sins. For those of us who remain firm, he moves us up higher and closer to him. We become stronger people, stronger Muslims. The people around you will look at you like, wow, she's so different. I wish I could be like her. She's resilient. She's resilient. She remains firm, strong, no matter what Allah sends her way. She's still standing with that hijab on, smiling and fulfilling her obligations to Allah, her family, her friends. That's the type of person you want to be. That's the person who has earned the love of Allah. That's the person who, when that person dies, their soul will be in a green bird flying through paradise because they've lived their life proving that Allah comes first and foremost. All right, so we'll stop right here for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you a quiz to cover some of the tools that I tried to give you today to help you get through your humps and bumps and hiccups in life. We'll stop right here. If you guys have any questions or comments, inshallah, you can type them on the screen. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta